Question of the day, part 2. What is the deal with Utah State and all the close games? Why does this keep happening?
Fun stuff, man.
Garrett says that's easy. It's March Madness. Duh. Garrett, they were playing close games long before we got to March.
January Madness.
Mountain West teams this year are no slouches, Alex says. The Aggies usually make mistakes on the road, not to mention they're missing a starter versus Fresno. It's not just Mountain West teams. They played a bunch of close games in the non-conference, and I get people don't pay as close attention in non-conference, but nonetheless, a 1-point win over San Francisco.
Yeah.
2-point win over Santa Clara. A 3-point win over Akron. I mean, they're 11-1 in games decided by 5 points or less. They're 3-1.
That's amazing.
They're 3-1 in OT games. First off,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, 12 of their games have been 5 points or less out of the 32.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And to attribute that to what? Mental toughness and the ability to make the big play in the clutch. And that's whether it's hit the big shot, obviously, but also grab the big rebound, get the stop when you have to.
That's what I was saying. Sitting courtside in that game, I never felt like we were going to lose, even though Fresno just wouldn't go away. They didn't go away. Utah State didn't put them away until OT.
Yeah, overtime. Yeah.
And then you listen to what Osibor and Jackson were saying is like, I really felt like listening to them talk after watching them play that once they felt it got to overtime, it's like, okay, this is where we want to be. This is where we will get it done. And sure enough, what was it, 17-5 in OT? They run away from them. In a game that goes in overtime, they win going away. And it's really weird. I can't put my finger on it, but just the vibe. Now, maybe I was the only guy who had that vibe in that whole arena, but that's the way I felt. Like, and as soon as Jackson came down, first possession, hits the three, and they were struggling from three most of the games. Like, oh, okay, this is what they do. They got here. Now they're good to go. I thought the last possession in overtime was crappy. I think Brown was a little bit of hero ball there. Just they stood around and he jacks up a three and it doesn't go. But sure enough, man, they get the thing right off the bat and they're good to go. And then it was comfortable. It's weird to think that, and I don't have a stake in it, so I can say it easier than a fan, that in overtime, when the game got in overtime, I felt extremely confident that they would win.
Well, you were right. I don't know why, but when it was a 4-point game, I thought they're letting them hang around. It slips away so easily. And sure enough, Fresno, bucket, stop, bucket, and they tie the thing up. I got to say, I had doubt at that point. Now, I'm with you. When they hit that shot to start overtime, it really did feel like, well, that's going to settle them down. And they're the better team. And sure enough, they went right down and got a stop, and then it was on. And they just bludgeoned them in overtime.
Yeah, they did. I think for me, given the fact of what they've been doing all season, when they came out to have the center jump at overtime, just looking at them and looking at body language, and I think for me, basketball, body language is a big deal. And I've been doing this for a number of years, and I can get a feel. And when they came out of the huddle, and you're going to go to the center jump, it just seemed like they were so confident.
You can sense that in an arena. Sometimes they get it on TV, and sometimes they don't. But, man, when you're in an arena, you can really feel it. It's a weird thing, but it's definitely out there.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, enough, guys. Hey, congratulations, Bulldogs. You've had a couple of nice ball games because, they beat Wyoming and they had to come back. I watched that game, too, from courtside. And so you had that going on, and they did that. And congratulations to them, their coach. It was pretty much understood that he was going to step down, and he announced it that 52 years old. His wife coaches the San Diego State women. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Yeah. So, San Diego to Fresno, it's a good distance between you there, obviously. So he had a level of calmness in the post game, And I had heard somebody say after they beat Wyoming, he gets to coach one more game. So it was set up that this was going to happen. But, they had a good little run there in Vegas for them. They played 2 very competitive games, took, the number 18, 19 team into OT. But you just felt like, all right, that's enough of you guys. We're going to put you guys away. And then they did. And that was it's weird that I felt like that, but I really did. I never really felt that they were going to lose, even though it goes in overtime. Tonight is a different animal. They've got San Diego State tonight. I sat courtside for that ball game, and San Diego State. They're like Houston Light, man, in terms of being able to get after you. I mean, they really can do it.
You texted me one stat after the game. You looked at the box score and lost your mind, and you had to text me.
Yeah, 25 offensive boards. I mean, they got athletes at every position, and they really can just do a lot of different things on a basketball floor.
25 offensive boards sounds great, but once you realize they missed 100 shots, and it's not quite as impressive. They actually missed. I think it's extremely impressive. It is impressive. They missed 55 shots. So to get almost half of those rebounds, that is impressive. That's a great percentage. But, man, they missed. I mean, we talk in the NBA, and they look for it in college games too. If you can really shoot, you're a 40, 50, 90 guy, right? You shoot 40 from 3, you shoot 50 from the floor, you shoot 90 from the line. The Aztecs shot 26, 36, 61.
Yeah, but this is what they do.
It is what they do. It's totally what they do. Of all the skills they worry about at San Diego State, and they the size, length, athleticism, the energy you play with, the hustle, and they play hard, right? They defend you every trip down the court. Big, physical, all these things. Shooting, if we had 1 or 2 shooters, it'd be good. That's pretty much how they roll, and it's worked well for them. I mean, they've been in the conference tournament final 6 years in a row. So they've been, and I think it's like 13 out of 15. Because really, I mean, Dutcher was Fisher's guy. I mean, this is like Fisher Part 2. I mean, they've been playing the same way for 25 years now.
Yeah. They've got, I can argue, they've got the most skilled player in the conference. I know Osibor got the MVP and all that. But this Ledee kid, I mean, he's built like a Greek god. He's just jacked. He reminds me, body-wise, of the old Hank Gathers at Loyola Marymount. Just looking like he just walked out of the weight room, man. And he's a heck of a player here. Went for 34 and 16 against the Rebels. That's very impressive. But to do it, and he had 7 offensive boards. To pound the glass like that, they can miss 1 million shots to get 25 offensive boards. Is super impressive for them. So this is going to be a great game tonight, 6:30. I think it's our time, right? Or no, 7:30.
7:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Pacific.
Yeah, 6:30 my time, 7:30 your time. The place is going to be rocking. Thomas and Mack is going to be rocking for sure. I'm really, really looking forward to this game. To see what happens. This game, I don't think that I'd had quite a level of confidence, and nor should I, because that would say something to San Diego State, and that would be a disrespect to them. They're capable of winning any game that they play, the way the tenaciousness in which they play. And I got to give UNLV credit, because them going into overtime, that was very impressive. That was a great game too.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. David Locke joins us to talk Utah Jazz and the NBA next.